I can tell you, Tom, selling fixed fee is very difficult. That's the most difficult thing around fixed fee is just being able to quote it and sell that. So there's no shame at all. Just get right now, you're learning. Goodness, just get the client and learn as you go. Well, hello and welcome to the J. Sterling Hughes Show, where we share how we have built our family law practice from 0 to 25 attorneys and 15 million in revenue. And my purpose here is to document what's working and what's not working with hopes that you can take that and you can recontextualize it and shorten your success curve. My name is Jeff Hughes and I'm your host, and I'm back here with Tom Hartin again. We've been following Tom for the past few months as he has started to build out his family law practice. So Tom, you just finished up September a few weeks ago, and we're going to talk about that today. So start off, what are the headlines from September? Good, bad, and neutral.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again, Jeff. Headlines, September was my first kind of full month up and running. I guess the good headline is that I did not lose money in the month of September.
Always positive.
So I don't know. I took that as a good thing. They say most businesses don't, expect to lose money for,
So your first really official month is in the bag. So you've made money in your first month. Okay.
I officially launched August 20. I think it was August 26th, something like that. So
it took me many months to break even, by the way. So you're already ahead of me.
Good. Yeah, definitely not making any substantial money, but didn't lose money, so that's good. So that's a good thing. I'm just learning. It's all a learning process. I think one thing certainly that I know that I need to get better at doing is closing clients at the consultation. So I've noticed, and this is kind of a no-brainer, but if you let a client walk away without closing, or at least making an attempt to close at the consult, there's a less likelihood of them signing once they walk out the door. Yeah, I was just kind of by default ending my consults, handing them the retainer and kind of walking through it, and then naturally they'd be like, all right, I'm gonna think about it. And I don't, my closing rate's not actually, I don't think is that bad. I don't think I lost out on that many, but probably definitely would have a couple more clients at this point if I once I work on those closing skills. So that's definitely something I need to develop.
Let's talk about, just give everyone context around what actually happened last month, and then let's break down what are your takeaways from that. So top line revenue wise, gross money that you brought in, what was that?
Sure. Top line revenue was just over $6,050.
Okay. And then how many legitimate family law calls or web leads did you get for folks you could help, not those that are calling looking for something else, but something that's within your practice matter?
Yeah. So we're talking about this a little bit before. This is something I need to get better at tracking, and something was going on with, I don't know if it was my ads or just my Google business listing or something. I was getting definitely more than half of my calls. I would guess somewhere around 2/3 to 3/4 of my calls were falling into one of two categories. Either people asking if I speak Spanish, which unfortunately I don't, at least not good enough to represent somebody in a matrimonial matter. I think I can order at a restaurant, but I don't even know how to say divorce in Spanish. And second one, people calling and asking if I was the child support office. And I didn't know how to stop that. And I'm not kidding, where some days I would get 3 to 5 calls asking if I was the child support office. I wasn't really tracking every call or lead coming in because it just, I don't know, I was having so few qualified leads. So instead, I was tracking, and maybe, sorry if I'm not using that term correctly, but I was kind of just tracking how many people I brought in and did a consult with versus, how many I signed.
So do you have any sort of just ballpark guess as to how many legitimate calls you had come in?
In September, I don't know, maybe 6.
Okay. And then out of those 6, how many of those turned into an actual consult?
Into an actual consult? Probably 5. I think pretty
okay. And then how many of those 5 hired you so far?
3.
3.
From September, okay. I think 3. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And then did you close any of those files? I mean, they're open and not closed in September.
Oh, open and shut them. Yeah. 2 of them actually.
Oh, okay. 2. Got it. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So you had basically 3 out of 5. That's That's 60% close rate. It's pretty strong.
Yeah, that's a guess, but I think that's pretty accurate.
Okay. All right. And then you said that you wish you'd have done something different on those two. Like, what could that have been?
Yeah, so I know for a fact, and I think we spoke about this on last podcast, so I don't want to get into it too much, but there was one woman come in who was really nice that she wound up going with another attorney, I guess, after doing a number of, I know she was open, like I was her first consult, and then she was going to go and do 3 other consults. I think she already had them booked, so no.
Wow.
I don't know that there's anything I could have done to convince her, like, hey, sign with me, don't even bother doing these other consults. But conversely, I didn't even try. She told me she was going for the other consults, and I was just kind of like, okay, here's my retainer. And I followed up with her about a week later, and she told me that she wound up going with someone else. And I think I do remember talking about this because I did it. I could tell she felt guilty, and I was like, don't feel guilty. Her case was kind of complex.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think she got the vibe that I didn't say I was new at this, but I think she just kind of got the vibe. And she went with a more seasoned attorney, and she wound up leaving me like a really nice review on Google. Nice. So that's what I remember talking to you about. So that was one that I lost. And there's been a couple times where I've tried to sell. So every case that I have right now, let me correct that. Every divorce matter that I have right now is on an hourly model. I have not yet been able to sell. So I have 4 active. Let me make sure that that's correct. I think 4 active divorce cases. 3 active divorce cases, and another one that I'm pretty sure is going to sign. That are all in like the hourly model, and all because of like hiccups that I haven't been able to sell fixed fee. And I think, despite the fact that I've spoken to you about it so many times, and you've explained it to me so many times, as someone just keeps asking a question, that I'm just like, I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah.
So again, I'll give you another example. I think, and again, stop me if we spoke about this last time, but everything we've done so far was assuming fixed fee in terms of trial, right? So or in terms of, filing with the court at least. So you file with the court, there's the stage 1 after a certain period, there's the stage 2, and that's leading up till trial, and then trial is stage 3. So then I had this person saying, I want to do it, I want to do this, in like a mediation type setting. Can you quote that? And I was like, yeah, of course I can. I don't have a number off the top of my head, but I can certainly come up with one and get back to you later today. And he was like, well, I want to try mediation for like a few months, maybe 4 to 6 months. Then what happens if we file with court? And then I don't know. I think at the end, my recommendation was just like, I think there's a lot of variables at play here. We just wound up going with an hourly model, and then he actually did sign. So that was a consult that I was able to close. But I sold that client, but I was not able to sell them on a fixed fee, which I would have loved to do.
Yeah.
I have had a couple minor things. Like one of the cases I closed, so I've closed 2 so far. One of them was like really small. It was just a guy wanted me to represent him at a hearing for a child support hearing. So I charged a flat fee for that. And the other one this was kind of broken into like 2 stages. So I actually did a fixed fee for the first part of that. And then the second part was, we went to trial. I think I talked about this last time. Yeah. I did that hourly.
Yeah, that was smart. So, I can tell you, Tom, selling fixed fee is very difficult. That's the most difficult thing around fixed fee, is just being able to quote it and sell that. So there's no shame at all. Just right now, you're learning. Goodness, just get the client and learn as you go. Your confidence will pick up as you can issue spot better and identify how much time it's going to take you to resolve something, and then set your fee based on that. But that's great. I think you're off to a great start. Another thought I had as you were talking about some of these calls that aren't really viable for you to serve. For one thing, we've learned is that you're going to get a ton of those calls. They're only going to grow over time, and you'll start getting vendors calling you and all that sort of stuff. And it'll feel frustrating and annoying and an interruption in your day and all that. But treat those people well. And if you can, try to help them and get them to leave a review for you. That's turned out to be a great source of reviews for our firm, especially with vendors. We would be kind of rude to a vendor. No way, just go leave us alone. And then they would go write a bad review. So we quit doing that, and we're, treat them very respectfully, and we don't get any bad reviews from them anymore. But folks that are calling about stuff that you can help, like the child support office, if you can spend the time to help them and say, hey, would you mind if you did this? You're going to get some, maybe 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 that will actually do it. If you can just email them a link right away and have them do it, even when you're with them on the phone, you'd be surprised. And if you can get more reviews like that, it really, really does help.
Yeah. I have someone that I kind of helped last week, and I should reach out to him today and ask if he would write a review. It's a good point.
The more reviews are like a moat around your law firm. So they're really terrific. So, okay. And then expense wise, what did you see last month from an expense standpoint?
Yeah, so my expenses, I mean, we can go over them every month, I'm happy to, but as of now, they're pretty set. My rent for my office so my expenses total were $4,200, and it's really just 4 expenses. My rent is $1,200. General marketing budget, I pay $1,000 for. Currently I'm running Google Ads, spending $1,500 on that, and just like various subscriptions. I have a LexisNexis subscription, something that like tracks my time and generates invoices, a bunch of small things like Adobe Acrobat, stuff like that. So that's right around $500 for that.
Okay, good. So all in, you made about $1,850 last month.
Yeah, sounds right.
Good. Now you've got your practice going from your IP practice still. So
yes, yeah. I don't know if you wanted me to make that clear or not. So if people don't know, I do patent work. I don't even know if I would say on the side. It almost seems like at this point the matrimonial stuff is on the side. But I want that to change as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
I make a healthy living from still doing my patent job, probably at this point like 60% of the time. More able to pay all my bills. At this point, people know I have a wife and 2 young kids at home. My wife's a stay-at-home mom, so I am the sole means of income for my family. I think if I wasn't at this point, I certainly would be taking extra steps to bring in other clients. Like I haven't really done any marketing outside of like your basic SEO and Google Ads. Whereas, if I didn't have the patent work to fall back on, or just, in general, eating up a lot of my time, I would be probably trying to do some more referral marketing and stuff like that. And that's stuff I should do anyway. It's just a matter of finding the time.
Yeah. So I think it's wise what you're doing. I mean, you've got responsibility to your family. You can't overlook that. That's
we've talked about that. They pay for my health insurance, which is that's massive for me.
Yeah. So, I mean, realistically, your family law practice is a side hustle right now, and you want it to become your primary hustle at some point.
Yeah. I think monetarily, yes. In my mind, it's kind of flipped.
Yeah.
I know eventually the family law practice is going to be my primary, and I think in my head it already kind of is. But looking at the numbers, clearly it's not. So.
Yeah. And I know we're a good part through October as we're talking right now, but you came out of September with 1 client, 2 that you had closed within the month. And this month, you've added a few more clients to that, obviously, because now you got 3 or 4 open divorces.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll have a lot more to talk about next month, because October seems like there's been some activity.
So surprisingly, no. I think we'll have more to talk about in November. So, and I'll give you the reason for that. So I'm looking at my sheet right now, and I have 6 active cases. So 2 that I closed, 6 active cases. A couple of them just kind of sat there, and they kind of still are. Like one of them, I'm waiting for like financial information. Another one, she signed but like wanted more time. She has signed the retainer but wanted a few weeks to talk to her husband before proceeding. And then there's another one where I'm waiting for it's someone who switched attorneys from somebody else to me. So I'm waiting to get the information from that attorney before I can get started. So I had a couple people sign in October. I had 3 clients sign in October, and we can talk more about that next month. But only one of them has really been any action so far.
Yeah. Okay.
So October was a little bit slow, but we'll get there. I guess importantly, I did got some retainers signed and met a bunch of people. Learned a lot. I had that trial in early October, and I had 2 other hearings.
Yeah. So, I think you're off to a great start. A common path that you're not taking that a lot of new people starting up do would they go get a guardian ad litem assignment and go to the court and look for some assignments for those, but you're choosing not to do that. So
yeah, and so this will be a good place to start next month. I actually turned down my first client.
Oh, okay. Let's start there for our October review, and we meet again in November.
Yeah,
hear that. So good. All right. Well, any takeaways from October or from September?
Nothing that I have right now. Do a little bit better on the closing end, and still, I don't know that I'll ever be done with this process, but working, just trying to be more focused with my Google Ads and, just trying to get more calls and stuff coming in, which, we were talking about before, has been slow over the last week or 2. And, we were talking about a couple of reasons that could be. But
we talked about, like in our firm in Wisconsin and Illinois here, we have been very slow the past 2 weeks. And this mirrors essentially what happened back in October of 2020 leading up to that presidential election. So I think in general, there's just a fair amount of anxiety and kind of wait and see feeling in the air right now until our election is over in November. So let's get there as quick as we can. Hopefully we have a president on November 6th and not some protracted. So
I don't know.
All right, cool. Thanks for sharing with us.
Yeah, of course. I'm looking forward to next month, and hopefully the month after that, we'll have some more revenue to talk about.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
All righty.
Great talking to you.
Bye.